Hello and welcome, Warhammer fans, to a video that by all accounts I should have made months ago. I was sidetracked with my series on the Vikings, and I just sent in a short story to be published, and I'm working on a podcast series at the moment. However, that isn't an excuse to be this late on my continuation with my series on the time of Woes, so here's a small video to keep you going until I release my much longer video on the retaking of Eight Peaks. Where we left off last time was the fall of Eight Peaks, notable in that it was likely the greatest dwarf hold to ever be lost in the Karaz-a-karak. However, the time of Woes was not done. More tragedy was to befall the great race of dwarfs before the coming of man in the Age of Silver. 51 years after the beginning of the War of Eight Peaks in 650 BS, or before Sigmar, King Baragor of Karak takes the Slayer Oath. It's an event unheard of in the dwarf community and brings with it a conundrum of oaths and honor. For King Baragor, the descendant of King Ungrim Ironfist, will have a duty to both his kingdom to stay alive and rule, and to his Slayer Oath to die in glorious battle. At an unknown date in the future, King Baragor dies in a cave-in. His oath to kingdom and his Slayer Oath goes to his son Drago, and down the line until modern Warhammer fantasy. But that is a story for another day. In 469 BS, 44 years after Eight Peaks falls, Karak-Israel, one of the wealthiest dwarf holds and known as the City of Jewels, is overrun. In their hubris of wealth and security, and thinking the North Road safe because they believed Karak Eight Peaks would never fall, they only lightly defended the mines and roads that led into the very heart of the city. Even the Greenskins had heard of the vast treasure trove within the hold, and attacked even as the Skaven burst forth from the mines, having dug warrens connecting Israel to Eight Peaks. The dwarfs, as always, fight valiantly, but they are caught unawares and attacked from all sides. The hold is then renamed Karak-Azgal to relate better to its new masters. Unfortunately for all three of the warring races, however, Graug the Terrible, a vast and terrible dragon, and the sire of the worm we discussed in my previous video, Scaladric the Incarnadine, who tormented Karak-Hadrin and outerlying settlements, attacks the newly dubbed Karak-Azgal. Graug, as all dragons, can smell the stench of wealth and ripped apart any greenskins. Skaven, in its way, and slaughtered 1,000 dwarfs that still held the deeps until it reached the treasure trove of the Legendary Hoard. There it would wait until over half a millennia later when Scalf Dragonslayer enters the hold. Nearly 100 years later in 380 BS, a terrible event beset all of dwarfdom. The greatest orc warboss in 300 years, Ugrok Beardburner, attacked Karaz-a-karak itself and besieged the great city with a vast army. As was expected, even his massive battering ram did little to damage the great gates, but King Logan Proudbeard was captured by the orc warboss and tortured. However, so distraught and angered were the people of Karaz-a-karak that they opened the gates and assailed the greenskin forces that besieged them, routing them and sending them fleeing to save their king, led by a redoubtable warrior dwarf called Gorazin Silverhorn. They saved the king, but the armies of the Greenskins still lingered and molested the Dawi until a year later, when they were defeated and destroyed at the Battle of Blackwater. So ends the last notable battle of the time of Woes, though it would be nearly 400 years before the pressure of their foes would let up. It was in 250 BS that they began to trade with the primitive manlings of the western forests in any real capacity, and it would be a quaint but vital trading network for the next few centuries. The only other event even worth telling was the great dwarf hero Daled Stormbreaker entering Karaz-Azgal, now dubbed the Dragon Crag, with an expedition of hardy dwarfs to reclaim the lost treasures of the old Karak-Israel and slay Graug, but they were never heard of again. Thank you for listening to this short video, guys. I'm very sorry it's short, but as I said, I will make a much longer video to end my series on the retaking of Eight Peaks. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks.